In an ever-evolving digital landscape, for your business to thrive, you must adapt or die. Welcome to Marketing in the Age of AI, the podcast helping you harness the power of AI and marketing tools to revitalize and grow your business. And now here's your host, marketing expert and author of Authentic Marketing in the Age of AI, Emanuel Rose.
Welcome to this episode of Marketing in the Age of AI. We're going to have a great talk today about voice and AI and synthetic voice, and it's especially interesting because we just had another advancement with potentially with Joe Biden, President Biden, using an AI generated message last night. So it's timely in that way, but without too much other conversation on my part, I'm going to bring Brandon in from Interval AI, and welcome to the show.
Hey, thank you for having me. It's hilarious you bring this up. I didn't watch the Kamala Joe Biden phone call yesterday, but when I get to the office today, a couple of my team members, they brought it up, so we looked it up on YouTube. I don't know what that was. She literally was caught saying phone call, Joe. I don't know what that was, but it was hilarious.
Yeah,
Interesting time to be alive, to say the least.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, was it a recording? Was it AI? Was it Joe really calling? Who knows?
Oh man, and who knows with Joe too? He always is saying something random, so you never know. It very well could have been him, and we cannot be certain.
Yeah, well, Brandon, give us an introduction about who you are, where you kind of came from, how you got educated, and how you started or became part of Interval.
Heck yeah, appreciate the opportunity to share a little bit about myself today. Hopefully I won't bore anyone too much. I'll try and keep it a little bit more lively. But yeah, my name is Brandon Davis. I grew up in Southern California, but since then I've kind of lived all around the United States as well as Southern Brazil. Spent time significantly in various parts. I've lived in Texas, I've lived in Florida, I've lived in Tennessee, California, Utah, like I mentioned, Brazil. And each experience and each location has offered a little bit of a unique life perspective. And it's helped me kind of recognize that there's a lot of opportunities out there. Wherever you are, wherever you may be, there's a lot of opportunities. And currently, I'm working on Interval. It's an AI startup for debt collection and helping small businesses reap on the reward of whatever product or service they already offered to a customer, they already performed for them. And when the customers fall up short on their payments, businesses, they shut down because of it. And a lot of people are struggling with their payments these days. But we help the businesses because they're going to shut down if you guys can't keep paying whatever you owe them. So that's a little bit about what our software does.
That's cool. Well, how did you get into the AI SaaS space?
Yeah. So much like in the early 2000s, when everyone was jumping in with the .com era, it's kind of like the wild, wild west. You got the major companies, you got the Metas of the world, you got the chat GBTs of OpenAI and whatnot. So you have a lot of the large language models that are coming out. And with those large language models comes a lot of documentation, a lot of code, and their APIs are open to the public where you can start using them to kind of create your own businesses inside of it. So you got a picture inside of these massive companies that have these awesome language models you can talk to. If you have Facebook or Instagram, you can hop on and talk to one there. If you do a Google search, you can talk to Gemini or Claude or ChatGPT, any of these big platforms. They also have an entire subsidiary inside of these companies just offering their documentation for a small price every month. And it is not very expensive. And you can just jump in and start creating something out of it. So it's not easy in any means to just hop in and say, hey, I'm gonna throw up an AI company. But with how quick these things are evolving and how many updates and changes they're constantly making, and all of them are trying to compete right now to be the top dog. So they're pumping out these products, trying to get users. And so it's just a fun time to be alive. So if you can read that documentation and kind of warp it into what you want to use it for, it's a beautiful time to be in business.
Well, that's cool. So then did you do like a traditional comp sci major in school, or did you just teach yourself, or what? How did you end up on the programming side?
Yeah. So Just various computer science classes throughout college, information systems classes. I'm actually a business major myself, but then more of our team members took the more traditional route of being computer science, information systems. So it's kind of a mixture of a lot of core groups there. But
Well, that's awesome. Well, how did you end up focusing on the voice part of this from all the choices that are out there?
no, that's a really good question. So our business, much like anyone who's listened or is listening right now and has started a business, it's not always the most simple path. You go in thinking whatever original idea you had is the most revolutionary, life changing. You're never going to lose a customer, or it's going to be the easiest sales process on earth. We went in with that exact same concept. So we originally took an idea of being just finishing up college. We had the issue of we go to these college lectures. It's so fast paced these days, online classes or in
Yeah,
person classes, where you go down and you take notes on your laptop. But as you're jotting down notes, your professor's up there speaking, and you miss half the things that she's talking about.
sure.
And you miss information, you miss things that are going to be on the quiz, you miss things that are important to your lectures, and it's a huge issue. And so we went and surveyed other college students. We're like, we can't be the only ones having this issue. And a lot of them were. And so what we did is our very early product, before interval was even a thing, not even close to what we're necessarily working on now. We set it up on your phone where all you would have to do is hit record. You'd take that audio transcript, you'd record the 45-minute to an hour and a half lecture, you'd upload it to our dashboard on our website. And from there, it would transcribe the entire lecture so you can go back and reread it all. It would
Nice.
AI summarize notes, it would create practice tests for you, just
Oh,
little things to help you study and become a better student so you can
yeah.
go
Love
to
it.
class.
Yeah.
Yeah, you might love it. Everyone loved it. We had a fat list. We had over 100 students using it within the first week. But the issue is we were targeting college students who have $0 bills to their name. So our
Right.
company, it was an amazing idea and it was working really well, but no one was willing to pay anything
Yeah,
for it.
right. That's right. Like the old saying, why do you rob banks? Because that's where the money is.
That's where the money. Yeah, the college students are not where the money is. I'll tell you that much. So our original idea of pumping that out, it worked great. The audio transcription worked great, and we took very simple formulas from that original product. We took a lot of the existing code, and we just kept ideating and iterating until we finally landed on an industry that can actually pay us some money. And
Nice.
that's the small business trying to collect on their payments.
Well, that's interesting. Yeah. So, I mean, Opus, or there's a lot of these services that do something that you were doing for the college students,
Mhm.
right? But they focused on corporate. So, but you were still able to morph it and turn it into another product, which is awesome. Um, so the voice generation part, is that seeded by natural human voices, or how does that part work?
Well, I'm sure you heard kind of the controversy with OpenAI when they released their latest model and the whole Scarlett Johansson.
Yeah.
So the voices themselves are coming from generally human actors. They claim that they didn't steal the voice from Scarlett Johansson in her transcripts, but
Yeah.
they also took it down off their website very quickly. Um, so the actual voice is coming from human dictation, voice actors, but you can kind of mold it into what you want. So, for instance, one of the models that we're using for our Atom software, Atom is what we call the debt collection software or the past due balance collection software. We molded his voice into being a little bit more manly, a little bit more of a vibrato,
Yeah.
because on over phone calls, when we're making thousands of phone calls a day, it comes over a little bit better over the transcript. So when you actually pick up, it sounds a little bit more human-like, a little bit more interesting. Whereas in the past, we've used more of a female voice, and over the different frequencies of the phone, it comes off as a little more subtle. You can tell it's more robotic.
Okay.
So there's a lot of intricacies behind it. It's a lot of playing and testing around, but
And then do you have like consultants who are audiologists and that track, or where are you finding the gaps from what you guys have figured out, and where are you getting help from?
it's just plug and play, trial and error.
Yeah.
I wish there was some grand formula I could share with everyone today, but honestly, our business is as scrappy as it can get.
Love it. Yeah. So ready, fire, aim. That's one
Yeah,
of the
pretty
secrets
much. Ready, fire, aim. Yep.
one of the secrets of entrepreneurship right there. So the debt collection space, I would imagine, it has the people who are on the other end of the voice call are probably nervous, or some have kind of an emotional response to that. So how are you managing the human emotional intelligence and integrating that into the software.
Definitely. And what you got to picture for our business too, well, first and foremost, for legal reasons, I guess, for anyone who's listening today, we're not a debt collection agency. We're a software company. So what we give to businesses is the ability to help streamline and automate some of these processes that they're currently using with their existing staff to actually collect on the payments they owe.
Okay.
We're not going after the customers who are 60, 90, 100 days old that are delinquent on their balances by tens of thousands of dollars. We're helping the small business who, might have 500 customers with a past due balance. These monthly subscription businesses, your pest control companies, your medical offices, these places where their customers might be behind $60 to $500 on one of their balances and they need to pay up.
Yep.
So where it comes from is it's a very simple process. A company, all they have to do right now is upload a CSV file with all their customers with a delinquent balance. And all our software does is step in, it automates the entire process. It calls them, it texts them, it emails them, and it responds through that entire situation. Where the emotional side comes from, it's very interesting because for legality reasons, you have to dictate. So our beginning of the message, it says something along the lines of, depending on how the business sets it up, hey, this is Adam, or whatever name they chose to use for the voice. This is Adam calling on behalf of so-and-so company. I'm an automated assistant here to help to remind you, you have a past due balance of $67.22. I could help you pay over the phone, connect you to a live agent, or send you a message with more information. Very simple, not a ton of interaction. But what it does is it helps these companies who are short-staffed, who can't necessarily afford to pay somebody $18 to $20 an hour to make these collection calls. It allows them to do thousands of these a day with little effort whatsoever. And then from the actual side of the person with the debt collection, of course, there's always going to be somebody who doesn't pay their balance. That's why we have debt collection agencies. But what we're really targeting is the person whose credit card changed, who maybe they had a tough month financially and they were a couple payments behind. These are good, hardworking, honest people who maybe had a slight little struggle or hiccup, but they were honest and they're gonna pay up what they owe.
Yeah, no. So then, I guess how much conversation is set up? Like if somebody, starts to go into a story, how responsive is Adam or Eve, whoever the caller is?
There you go.
Yeah.
It's very responsive. You can train it to respond however you would like. So if you have specific company details you wanna involve with it, if you have any kind of narration you want to give it, it's free reign for whatever the company wants. Most conversations are lasting anywhere between 1.5 to 4.5 minutes, depending. Because what you got to imagine too is these conversations, it's, hey, you owe us money. Can you pay it? They might have a couple questions back and forth, but for the most part, it's simple interactions, nothing too crazy. It's, hey, owe us money. Can you pay it up? Yeah, sure, I can pay it right now, or hang up.
Yeah, and then are you guys helping with is there like a payment link to e-commerce or what part of that process? Where does your process stop and the company back on track?
Yeah, so we have two ways of currently doing it. One, we connect all of our payment and billing through Stripe, which is obviously a world-renowned company, amazing company from Y Combinator, great company to work with. We connect all of our billing through them. So if a company doesn't have an online billing portal where they can charge their customers on a website or something like that, we help them create a Stripe account. And so then, Mr. Customer, you owe us $42. If they want to pay it over the phone or via text, it just sends them straight to the Stripe account where they can enter their information and their balance is no longer delinquent. Or if a company does have an online billing platform, we just send them straight to there. So it's nothing out of the ordinary whatsoever. It's a very simple process.
That's awesome. So then, just switching gears a little bit, how are you guys finding your customers? What marketing techniques are you using?
Once again, I'm Mr. Scrappy. Just find any way to get it done. We have all the tools for your traditional ads and typical marketing campaigns. A lot of it is cold calling. A lot of it is just reaching out to connections, social media posts. It's all random. We've even done door-to-door campaigns where we'll pull up to medical offices or auto shops or pest control companies and, hey, I don't mean to bug you right now, but do you have customers who owe you money, And it really is just like trench warfare where you're just trying to get anything going whatsoever on your side. But ever since then, it's been working and we're growing like crazy. So no complaints whatsoever.
So then, let's see. What does your product roadmap look like over the next, say, 18 months?
Yeah, so Our eventual goal right now, it's very use case enabled. So any company or any kind of business, like I said, who has customers with a past due balance, they're capable of using it. Eventually, once we figure out exactly what industries are using it more so than others, if we go into medical, we'll eventually just link to whatever billing softwares they currently use. The only hiccup in the entire operation that isn't incredibly smooth is right now the companies have to go through and say, hey, if somebody paid, they have to mark it off on our end so it doesn't keep reaching out to them because it
Right.
doesn't directly integrate with their existing billing software. So if they pay, we don't always have that information if they're not paying through one of our links and they're going straight to the company. So
Yeah.
that's the only hiccup right now. So in the next 18 months, as we kind of narrow in, if we have, 20,000 customers who are using a specific billing software, we'll start connecting with them. So it's a little bit more seamless. But even how it exists right now, very few companies have had issues because it's a 3-minute process where you go through and click them all off and it stops the campaign. So
Yeah. No, that's cool. Uh, and so, are there some other verticals that you're looking at that, as far as approaching to get on the platform?
right now, it really is just plug and play. And we, like I said, we have so many random businesses who have used it and like the product that we're kind of making it open to anyone right now.
Yeah.
Um, as far as verticals go, there's different directions we could take it, but for right now, it's heading in the right direction already. So we haven't thought too much into it in the sense that if it goes back to the old saying, if it ain't broke, why fix it?
Yeah, I got you. And then, let's say I wanted to use this as a outbound sales platform. Would that work with what you guys have?
So that's kind of one of those verticals that other companies have asked us to make in the future. That goes back to the if it ain't broke, don't fix it. There's plenty of businesses that are creating that exact thing. You have kind of the top dog in the industry, Air.ai or IO, whatever it is, the one that does like promises a gazillion leads, even though nobody's ever heard of that many leads.
Yeah.
But those are a little bit more expensive. So people have asked us if we can make something a little bit cheaper. I'm sure it'll be in the works in the future. It's just there's so much you can do, and there's so many different areas you can go and focus. Where if you don't stick to what you are getting good at, and you don't focus on what your business is already promising, that's how you lose your existing customers and make it a lot more difficult to grow in the future. So as we
Yeah.
continue to expand, I'm not going to say yes or no right now, but there's definitely possibilities.
No, I think that's smart. You got to stay in that vein that's valuable to you, especially early on in development. So how about any kind of crazy, amazing success story from somebody who's used the platform?
I mean, it kind of happens every single day. It's we charge such a low cost for this software that most companies make their monthly subscription that we charge, they make it back within a day. If you have
Wow.
one customer who owes you $50, right now we're only charging $50 a month for all these different companies.
Yeah.
Anybody can afford it. We're trying to make it as big and open to anyone as possible who could use something like this currently. And so, yeah, most of these companies are making their money back within one day. If you had one customer who owed you $50, you already paid for the monthly subscription. Everything else is just the cherry on top.
That's amazing. So then, what's the setup time like? How long does it take?
That's one of our favorite things. So when we were going through that ideation process, and I can't even tell you how many like little factors that led up to where Interval is today. We had so many small things that we tested out, early MVPs, fun little business ideas. And every single one of them, we learned a lesson where we took too long working on it. And it was so complex that nobody was setting it up. It would take an entire implementation team to get it started. It would take hours of work and
Yeah.
a million different factors. So now we got our timing down to where it takes about less than 6 minutes to get everything set up correctly.
So I'm from saying yes, I want to use your service to at making phone calls for me. 6 minutes.
Yeah, so you can either sign up directly on the website, talk with one of our sales members if you have any more direct questions. We try and be as open and transparent as possible with all of our customers. So everything you can really see on the website is what a sales rep would tell you, but sometimes you want that kind of communication with the customer.
Yeah.
Other than that, though, once you actually sign up and you make your account, yeah, 6 minutes is about how long it takes on average. Sometimes a little bit more if you're a little less tech friendly.
Yeah.
Sometimes a little bit less, but on average about 6.
Wow. Well, that is awesome. What an exciting product. And hang on after the show. I have some other verticals I'm going to share with you.
Beautiful.
So,
Love to hear it.
Brandon, thanks for taking time today. How do people get in touch with you if they want to talk to you about getting on your platform at Interval?
Yeah, absolutely. Our website's super hard to memorize. It's interval-ai.com. incredibly difficult if you can't remember that one. But yeah, you can look us up there. Find me on LinkedIn, anything like that. My name is Brandon Davis. Happy to chat with anyone who has questions.
All right. Well, thank you very much for taking the time to talk with me today, and good luck with Interval.
Hey, I appreciate what you're doing with the show. It's difficult to host a podcast, and yours is an exciting one. So it's gonna continue to grow.
All right. Well, thanks, Brendan. You have a great one.
Thanks for listening to Marketing in the Age of AI. Be sure to subscribe wherever you heard this podcast so you never miss a future episode. Your copy of Authentic Marketing in the Age of AI is available at Amazon.com or EmanuelRose.com. You can also connect with Emanuel on LinkedIn. Thanks again for listening, and we'll see you next time.